So what I think about censorship in America? That's a funny topic because everything has been censored and yet it's been said. You can't have um, a general admission when you have an X-rated premise. That's the reality of life in America. You know, um, Racist, sexism, ageism. But when we get to this topic about censor, about what you can and can't say, the First Amendment has always been selective. It makes no difference what party it is. It's always been a one-sided party. Um, they've always dictated, when they started stickering records or how they do with films. You have entertainers who have come out and said that that's not how they really are, but the industry wanted them to act a certain way. People wanted people to be a certain way. And it's hard to have a conversation with people who are vulgarians because it's like that's all they got. And that's what is the society has taught them to use. Sometimes when you're watching movies, some of these movies are so vulgar that that's the premise of the movie. Just like the comedians, so-called comedians, they get on stage and they have to say this and say that. And it's a trip because it comes with that federal government sticker, and the Disney people be pushing the agenda. But then if you got the Disney Channel, they got all kinds of freaky deaky stuff on there. I'm like, really? Sometimes the stuff they showing is like Showtime After Dark back in the day, if you know what I'm talking about. After hours. Really, this is how Disney hits the day. There's an agenda at work. So when you hear about the censorship, you can't even trip because it's almost inevitable. That's what they want, martial law. And they want to use people's lyrics and lines against, especially black rappers. They use that against you. They don't do that to white actors and nothing like that because they end up being politicians. But, this is what they do. It's very convoluted, you know. Censorship and how they politic, you know. They want you to sell the merch. They just don't want to endorse you, but they want you. It's kind of like when Ice-T was working for the network, working for the record company, and then they turn around and then he ends up being a cop on TV. That's the kind of the irony. That's kind of like the irony. If Ice-T was white, he'd be president right now. You can quote me on that. He probably know it too. I'm just saying.